We
All
live.
right, we are live. Yay!
Awesome. Hey.
Woo! So
And
everybody, come on in. Come on in. We'll give y'all a moment, see if anybody will join us. Let me make sure that we are actually on Facebook. If you are joining us live, let us know that you are here. I see somebody loved it. Yeah, so we are live. All righty.
we sure are.
All right. So we will go ahead and get started. We don't want to waste anybody's time. If you are here in the comments, be sure to let us know that you are here so we can acknowledge you and say thank you for joining us. And if you are catching a replay, type hashtag replay. So we are the self-care doctors. Woo! Thank you for joining us for Wellness Wednesdays. We are the Self Care Doctors. My name is Dr. LaToya, and
My name is Dr. Shannon.
yes. So obviously, we are in love with self care, and we are both doctors. So we will go ahead and introduce ourselves and tell you a little bit about us. So, Dr. Shannon, do you want to go?
Yes, girl. Thank you so much, Dr. LaToya.
No problem.
Echo your name for a minute. But yes, my name is Dr. Shannon Harrington, aka Dr. Fit Nurse. So everybody who's on my Dr. Fit Nurse page, you know that. I am a doctorally prepared nurse, and I'm uber passionate about self care. I have my bachelor's, my master's, and my PhD in nursing. And I did a postdoctoral research fellowship at Harvard, and I studied nutrition and exercise interventions for African American breast cancer survivors. So my professional life and my personal life, as you will get to know more over the next 4 weeks, are all centered around health and wellness. Self-care is real personal to me, and I'll go a little bit deeper about that a little bit later. But I work in corporate, so I am a nurse, clinical quality administrator by day, and I'm a nurse nursepreneur, and the owner of Try Again Health and Fitness LLC by evening night. And I am also and that is how I got to meet my awesome colleague, because we are both a part of a global speakers movement that you'll hear a little bit about later, because we kind of we got like the best coaching, speaking
Oh,
coaching.
yeah.
That is like the best link up with the best. So that's how I met Dr. LaToya at that amazing speaking university that we're a part of. And that's me.
All right. And y'all hear that? She went to Harvard, y'all. She went to Harvard. Excuse me.
Say it with your shoulders. Harvard.
And I am Dr. LaToya Wiggins, and my doctorate degree is in physical therapy. So, same thing like Dr. Shannon, we are both in the health field. She's in nursing, I'm in physical therapy, and it has a big a big impact on why I like to teach self-care as well as other things, which I will get into in a moment. So, as you see, I am a boy mom. I'm a boy mom of three sons, a 12-year-old, a 5-year-old, and I think 19-month-old. A 19-month-old. He's getting to that point where I got to stop counting the months and just say the year, right? I am married. I'm from Baltimore, and I'm not currently doing physical therapy. I am still a physical therapist, but I am taking a little break to do the stay-at-home mom thing / work from home mom thing. So just really enjoying this time with my little ones. But other than that, yeah, self-care. I guess we'll get to that in a moment. Self-care, I'm in love with it because of my profession and because of my personal struggles with my health and wellness, especially as a mom. So we will get to that in a moment. So we are talking about self-care, Dr. Shannon, and self-care is like a buzzword these days. Self-care, self-care, self-care. Everybody's talking about self-care. But what exactly is self-care? So how would you define self-care?
So I would define self-care as, I give this analogy. So say we've been in COVID, right? So all of us, we haven't been traveling as much as we were probably used to. Like we probably got to catch up on some vacations because we lost like 2 years. So we trying to pay vacation catch up. So when you're
Right.
on flight attendant says, in the event of an emergency, the cabin loses pressure, I want you to take the oxygen mask. I want you to put it on all three of your sons. I want you to put it on your husband, put it on your old boss at the physical therapy center, Mookie, Kiki, and them. Those not the instructions. So what they always tell us to do on the airplane is to put the oxygen mask on yourself first. And that's what self-care means to me. Self-care is not selfish. It's essential, like my shirt says. But it, to me, in a nutshell, self-care is putting the oxygen mask on yourself first, because you're not going to be good to anybody else until you take care of yourself.
Exactly.
What does it mean to you?
Yes. So I want to comment on what you said first. So it's so funny because I remember, I think when my oldest son was 5, we went to Disney World. So we're on the plane. And when I heard them say that, that was the first thing that popped into my head until they finished, explaining it. But when I first heard it, I'm like, put the oxygen mask on me. No, I'm going to put it on my son first. And I was like, oh, yeah, I can't help him if I'm passed out. So it's so true. Like, you truly have to, we're all, especially as a mom, we're always thinking, oh, I got to help this person first. I got to help my kids first, always. Well, that's not always the case, because if you can't help them, you can't help your children, your friends, whoever, if it's an emergency situation or just in life, in general, on a daily basis, you can't help anybody from the hospital room, the mental institution, or worse, in the grave. So like you said, we have to start taking care of ourselves first.
Absolutely.
So I completely agree with you. The way I define self-care, because a lot of people, when they think self-care, they're thinking about getting their hair done, the nails done, maybe a spa day, a massage. And the truth is, it can be a part of your self-care routine, but self-care is so much more than pampering yourself. You have to nourish yourself mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually. You can even say financially, because if your money looking funny, you're going to be stressed out. Like to add socially, how those social relationships, how you relate to other people, so you have to make sure that you're doing well, caring for your whole being in every way, or like we said, you can't function well. So a day at the spa, get my nails done, hair done, it's going to make me feel good in the moment. But what's going to happen once I leave? Did it really make my day better? And like I said, it can, maybe if you had like a little minor bad day, but if you're dealing with some deep issues, some serious health problems, yeah, the nails, hair done, everything did it's not gonna help.
And I was speaking at a conference a couple weeks ago, and we were talking about this after I gave my little speech or whatever. And the lady was like, I love your analogy about the airplane, but she was just like, sometimes she said, what I got out of this presentation, because I talk about it from the holistic perspective that you mentioned, she said, I've been doing a lot of self-soothing. So she was like, I'm doing a lot of wine and wine night with the girls. WINE and WHINE. So having those done and doing all this stuff, drinking, tripping, and all that type of stuff, it made me feel good in the moment. But after that alcohol wore off, after I to get my nails done again, after that massage was over, I still had the problems. I still had the issues. I was trying to numb. I'm reading this book called Made to Crave. And she said, you mentioned nourish. She said, when it comes to our relationship with food, she's like, a lot of women are emotional eaters.
Yeah.
And
guilty.
Not to nourish.
Yeah.
And I was like, ooh, does she know me personally? Like, that we do things to numb the pain, to make ourselves feel better in the moment. However, the long-term healing and the long-term self-care practices and routines that you mentioned are what's essential for us to maintain a healthy lifestyle.
Exactly. I totally agree. So we talked a little bit about ourselves and our background and what self-care means to us. So, why exactly is self-care? Why are we so passionate about speaking on this topic of self-care? Do you want to start? You want me to start?
I can start. I'm so passionate about it because it's my life. It used to be something like real cute, like everybody want to be snatched, have the hip ratio,
stomach, big booty.
Yes, ma'am. Like and stuff. So it started off being a very superficial aesthetic reason. And hey, Aletta, it started off
Hey, all right,
um,
Global Speaker Summit in the house.
being very superficial. But then I realized that self care was something I needed to do for my life. And my
Mhm.
wake up call was 10 years ago. So I am Dr. Shannon Harrington, a Harvard education. However, me being a doctorally prepared nurse, I could not save the very life that gave me life. And
Mm,
12 hours before I got my PhD and graduated, my father took his last breath. And my father had
mm,
a stroke, and he had a stroke from preventable causes and diseases that he had been taking care of himself, not numbing himself with food, not eating all the
yeah.
things that smothered and gravy and fried and died and all of that.
Mhm.
He had diabetes, he had high cholesterol, he had hypertension. So all of those preventable diseases, I'm like, oh my God. Some things, as far as my genetics, I ain't got no control over that.
Right.
However, I have control over what I put in my mouth, whether I'm active,
Mhm.
my environment that I put myself in, what I feed myself, both physically to nourish, but also both spiritually,
Yeah.
emotionally, and all of those types of things. So it became real personal for me when I lost my father, because it was the ultimate
Mhm.
wake up call, and I
Yeah.
got really serious. It switched from cute to like, if you want to live, hunty, you need to do those that are in alignment with her quality of life.
Right. Look cute on the outside and the inside.
And
Yes.
it did.
So so needed. And my story, some of the reasonings that you said I can relate to. So around the time I started my original self care journey, before I knew that, before it started trending, I started my physical therapy career around the same time that I wanted to start losing weight from my first, after having my first son. And same thing, I just wanted to lose weight. Like you said, to be snatched, like, okay, it's time to drop this baby weight. Look, maybe try to get back to my high school weight, whatever. And like, I literally started at the same time. Like, I started working and going to the gym at the same time. And again, like I said, I started my career in the inpatient hospital setting, which is where I've been working at like since I started my career.
Mhm.
And what you see is a lot of people in that hospital with, like you said, diseases that are preventable. Like you said, everything we can't always prevent. If you even speak of things certain like certain illnesses like cancer, there are things they can do to prevent it. And sometimes, like you said, it could be genetic. But again, we need to be focused on those things that we can prevent. So for my own transformation, it became more about just trying to lose this weight. Like I said, trying to have the small waist and looking snatched, looking cute, like you said, and really start working on my health.
Mhm.
I'm like, I'm in good health and I wanted to stay that way. And then my story transformed after I had my second son. So I got the physical health down pat, right? Now I got to work on that mental piece. I
Yeah.
grew my family. First it was just me and my oldest son. Then I got married. I had another son. So what I was doing for self-care before, I had to change in this other season of my life. So that's when I really started being intentional about the mental health piece. And my story with my second son, after I had my third son, they were pretty similar. But again, I had to tweak some things because each season calls for different, ways that we find that we may need to care for ourselves. So, with my third son, I really had to start tackling the therapy piece.
Yeah.
And I was so determined not to go at first because I became the self care strategist. Right. I became the self care strategist when my second son was an infant. So I'm thinking, I know what to do. I mean, the truth is, I did know what to do, but I had to practice what I was preaching and I needed the support. So I had to stop being stubborn and get the support that I need. Got to the point where I just got sick and tired of waking up. And as soon as I wake up, I'm already dreading my day before it
Mm-hmm.
even started. I got tired of waking up or retreating back to my room,
Yes.
crying,
Yes.
suffering in silence is pretty much what I was doing.
Yes.
So it was one day I was listening to one of my favorite podcasts, which is actually Therapy as a Christian. And she mentioned therapy. It was a particular company. And I'm like, okay, I can do that. So I finally, that day, I'm like, let me go ahead, log online. It was so simple to do. I logged online, found a therapist, virtually. And I started my self-care that healing. And it played a big part in my healing. Like I really finally felt like I feel the best I've been in, years, and it just so happened around that same time I started my self-care journey, as far as therapy, I started really being more intentional about my soul care. That soul care piece is a part of you. A lot of times we're focusing on how to heal ourselves, that self piece, which is why some people think self care is selfish. I had to start looking to my Heavenly Father for healing. So it wasn't that I didn't have a relationship with God before, but I really was intentional about making that stronger. So between the therapy and God, they say what, therapy and Jesus? I have really seen that transformation, which is why I'm passionate about teaching self care, not only to women, but especially those moms, those Christian moms, because we gotta include that soul care piece into, as part of our self care healing.
Absolutely. You brought up stuff. I should have been taking notes because I was just like, oh, that's good. Oh, that's good.
Look, watch the replay. We gotta watch the replay for ourselves.
I'm gonna need to pause and rewind. I need that. Arletta needed that today too. And
yes, therapy and Jesus. It's a T-shirt too. I should see if I can find one and buy it. Therapy and Jesus.
But you hit on so many things. One of the things was you hit the holistics part of self-care beautifully. And I was asked at a speaking engagement, like, what order did you do it as far as the self-care piece? And I always say faith and fitness saved my life. So it was my relationship with
God. That's another one.
And therapy and Jesus. So Jesus is the constant, right?
Right.
But don't get it twisted. Therapy was in there for me too. But was the relationship with God, my spiritual self-care, and that's the name of my business. TRY is an acronym for Transform and Renew Yourself. And it's based off of one of my favorite scriptures, Romans 12:1-2, about being transformed by the renewing of your mind. So as I got deeper into God's word, it's like as I read the word and allowed the word to read me, I became more aware of who I was as a woman, who I was.
There you go.
As I got stronger in that aspect, it became perfectly clear because those were the foundations that my father taught me. So losing my father and that training the child in the way that you should go, I knew where to go when I was hurting. So I went and then my word, because we wanted the snatches too. Like, can I be safe? Can we just be a brick house like for Jesus?
Right.
To help with that. Instead of drinking and instead of eating myself to death and feeling worse about myself and feeding and numbing, not nourishing myself, I became more in tune with fitness. And I surrounded myself with people who were in fitness. And then I went and laid on somebody's couch. So I did my therapy was an integral part. And I'm so glad that you said that because there's a Black stigma. I think it's the stigma in different races, but especially with us Black people, we won't talk about that. People thinking you crazy, you gotta take medication. Like Jesus and fitness and the diet is good. However, it's just something about laying on somebody's couch or somebody, whatever you got to do to get your therapy on. Getting that, having that intentional time, not wearing down your best friend and your husband. Everybody, going to all of the people in your social circle and your family circle, trying to get them to fix you and to heal you when they don't have the tools. They love you, but it's a lot of things that people can't love you through.
Right.
Have to go on your healing is a journey. It's not just something cute that we say like self-care. Oh, I'm here. #healing. Healing is more than just an isolated event. It's like a journey that you go on, and can't nobody take it for you. People can love you as you go on the journey, but you need to go to therapy for yourself. You need to go to Jesus for yourself. Right.
And that's so true. I'm glad that you said that because, like you said, there are people who are trained to help us. Your best friend, your husband, they can't fix you. And I used to have to catch myself because I'm like with my husband, I'm like, I married you. You're supposed to be making me happy. Like, you're supposed to be making me happy, and you're not telling me what I want to hear or something that I feel like you should be telling me.
Fix it.
And I think it was actually, I want to say it was Will Smith. Yeah, I think it was Will Smith, even though they have a lot of drama, him and Jada, but yeah, she said like it wasn't his job to make her happy.
Yeah.
And it makes sense. It's like, yeah, because like I don't know what to do to heal you. I can support you, but I don't know how to heal you, so we have to be in charge of our own healing. We have to be in charge of our own healing. Why are you waiting for so and so to tell you something, and then they might tell you the wrong thing to do at that? So that's the thing. A lot of times we're trying to heal because we're trying to depend on other people, and they could be giving us some horrible advice.
Lisa Nichols says that you have to be your own rescue. Waiting for somebody else to come and rescue you. And I think that sometimes in relationships, especially when you find like the man, like, oh, this is the man that God sent me. This is my whole has married now. Honey, it's like one of my wise friends that's been married for as long as I've been alive says, baby, you need to come to your relationship healed and whole. Complete compliment. It can't be 50-50. You don't want to marry 50 person. He need to be 125. So complete, whole, healed person. Complete, whole, healed person. And y'all compliment each other. Because if you come broken, you bring your broken pieces. He 50% whole and got broken. Honey.
Like, everybody needs some kind of healing in some kind of way. And that goes for friendships also. A lot of times, like you said, you should have good support. I will say that you should have good support in your life, or you need a new circle, right? Absolutely. But we can't just go to our friends and family members, dragging them down the whole time. Other people have their own struggles too, so like, yes, we can be there for each other, but we can't be, like I said, I don't know, we can't save somebody else when we're trying to save ourselves.
Oxygen, we just brought ourselves full circle.
Yep. The oxygen mask. I can't help you. I'm still trying to save myself. We both dying together.
Right. Your husband can't put his oxygen mask on you.
We both gonna be dead.
Absolutely. So I'm super excited about continuing this conversation. I see Arletta, we hitting you.
Yes.
That we hit all of the things.
Yes, our letter is like putting out notes in the notes in the comments.
But Arletta, you and everybody else is watching, and people that's going to catch the replay, please comment on different topics that you want us to discuss.
Yes.
So today was the warm up, so we thinking fitness now. I'm Dr. Fitness. But when we really get into the self-care workout next week, we need to know exactly what y'all want to talk about, and we need to prepare.
Yes.
So
we have some topics that we want to talk about, but if y'all have specific topics that y'all want to hear about first, we know how to prioritize, or y'all might bring up something that we didn't even think about talking about it at all. So let us know. We hope you enjoyed chatting with us, whether you're live or catching a replay. Like I said, this was just an introduction to who we are and why we love to talk about self-care, and especially what self-care is. So y'all can really start really nourishing yourself, like we were saying. And before we close out, I just happen to think about it. Know that self-care does look different for everybody. So, we talked about fitness. We talked about therapy. We're not saying that everybody should be, going to therapy. That's only if you need it, right? Now, fitness, I ain't gonna say you got to be in the gym, but you got to be doing something, some kind of movement. But but in different ways, which we'll get into some other videos. But what nourishes Dr. Shannon doesn't necessarily nourish me. I see she be running up hills and stuff. I'll do it now. I have done it, but my love is what I'm about to do in about 30 more minutes. I'm about to be in my step class, with a group of women. So, like being in that environment, that's self-care. I'm around some other women. We pushing each other, things of that nature. Same thing. it's just different things. Maybe you do want to do a massage here and there. Maybe it could be a girls' night. That's self-care. I have children. Self-care can still be with my children, so we will be tackling all of that. Self-care isn't, like we said, it's not selfish. So it's not just about you. Self-care can be about your own quiet time and how you spend that quiet time, journaling, reading, doing absolutely nothing, which is like my favorite thing to do. So just know that whatever somebody else is doing does not mean you need to do it. Find those things that make you feel good, that make you feel at peace, and have gives you joy. Because self-care is something that you should be doing every single day. If you think about even sleep, getting the right amount of sleep for your body, that's self-care. So I just want to add that on. And if you got something else you want to add to that, Dr. Shannon, go ahead.
Self-care routine, and that's something that we're going to talk about and unpack in the weeks to come. Having a routine is essential, and like
Yeah.
she's about the different seasons of her life, even the different having child, like having one child, 1, 2, 3, husband, this house, car, working, not working, in different seasons of your life, you're going to need to find different ways of nourishing yourself. But
Yeah.
getting it. So Dr. Shannon was a routine. So my routine is the 4 W's. I've been doing this since 2017. I started my routine. 4 W's. War room, workout, worship, work. So every day of my life, I'm going to be doing.
Oh, you still there? You type it in the chat. I like those W's right there.
That's my time with God. That's my devotional time. Sometimes it's a little bit longer. Sometimes I have time to soak in his presence. Sometimes I need to run through his presence. Sometimes I got time to soak. Sometimes I got time for a drive by Jesus. Or workout. I'm gonna move my body in some way. Sometimes it's yoga. Sometimes it's me doing backflips up the hill and all of my videos that you'll see on. Sometimes it's crazy. Sometimes it's slow. But I'm gonna move my body some way. Worship, sometimes that's Tasha Cobb, sometimes it's Kirk Franklin and Ty Tribbett. It just depends on how I want to worship God and get it out there. But it helps me to center my mind and my spirit to get ready for work. And work is not always in the form of corporate work, but work is my purpose. Those things that sometimes work for me is just that spiritual self-care of being able to bless a homeless person or to pay for somebody in Walmart or Target or Macy's, buy somebody a shirt or whatever. It's just that nobody can repay me for, and it's something that's just gonna make me feel good just because I did it. That's the work. So having a routine, we're gonna talk about that and how to discover what your routine is. But this was just a high level overview and introduction to who we are as the self-care. So that you'll
that is cracking up. She said, not backflips.
Girl, watch. Okay, so that's the last thing we supposed to say today was how you supposed to keep in contact with us, because my audience know me, my audience don't know you. So I am Dr. Fit Nurse, and you can contact me on drfitnurse.com. And the crazy videos that she's talking about is on Dr. Fit Nurse the Instagram. So don't judge me. Don't judge me. I got some motivational stuff up there. Some things it might be a little Meg Stallion, whatever, but I get my workout. So Dr. Fit Nurse on IG. Dr. Fit Nurse, you're already following it on Facebook if you're watching this.
Right.
To Miss Dr. LaToya and drfitnurse.com. Very simple. Dr. LaToya.
And you have the group. Tell them about your group.
Oh, yes, I had. Thank you for reminding me. The Healthy Lady Self-Care Club. So I am all things self-care. I have a self-care 21-day planner, self-care and success to kind of help you walk through the things that we're going to teach you over the next 4 weeks. But I have a group on Facebook. So if you're watching this, you're on Facebook.
Right.
I'm going to be doing some giveaways in the next couple of weeks as we continue to grow it. But the Healthy Lady Self-Care Club. And we have a lot of different activities for Self-Care September. It's one of the reasons why we launched this month, because it's the disease of the month, the idea of the month, or whatever. It's prostate awareness, alopecia awareness, self-care awareness. It's just awareness for everything, but self-care is in there. Self-care is in there.
Self-care awareness.
Right, self-care awareness. So the healthy.
And we'll put all of the links and everything in the caption comments or whatever when we log off. Yes. Do you have any events coming up, or that's it? I know you had a self-care. You had a what? 5K? She had a 5K, y'all, a few weeks ago. Like, she's on the move.
Yes, that fitness part is real personal to me. You know, I'm so sincere about that. But we did have a 5K. We will be supporting some other 5Ks. Actually, I put the link out for October, Breast Cancer Awareness Month. So I had a personal breast cancer scare. Breast cancer runs in my family. My aunties and people that are close to me have been impacted, and I lost two of my friends in 2019 to breast cancer. So we will be doing a breast cancer walk, the Making Strides Against Breast Cancer. You can participate virtually or in person in Virginia Beach. The next event, and we just finished reading up a book that we'll be having a book club. So if you want to get the book club next week, actually next Tuesday, we're going to be talking about The Diary of a Grown Up. It is the book by Miss Kathy Taylor, and that is our first book for the Healthy Lady Self-Care Club. So we read that book. Talk about it on next Tuesday. Have some good juicy conversation about all things. Nothing is off topics, ladies. So we can talk on it for an hour and 30 minutes with Miss Kathy Taylor, the author of the book.
That's amazing. Arletta said, I got to get motivated. Girl, we're going to help you. We will help you do that.
Yes.
And as y'all know about the Dr. Fit Nurse on all platforms, she is a Nourish Mom. She's a Nourish Mom here on Facebook. She is a Nourish Mom on Instagram. She is a nourishmom.com, where you should go and sign up for my newsletter so you can stay up to date on different things that I'm doing. Whether it's events, tips and trips for your tricks again, tongue tied, for your self-care. And if you are confused or you need some more ideas about different things you can try out for self-care, I have a list of 50 self-care activities for Christian moms. So check that out. And it also comes with a self-care checklist. So you can kind of prioritize what you want to do each day. So check that out. It is free. Just go to my website, sheisanourishmom.com. And I have a few things coming up in October. So I have, I'm speaking at the Sweatpants and Chill Retreat. That's in Cambridge, Maryland. And that's from the October 21st through the 23rd. And that same weekend, I am speaking virtually at the Women Breaking the Silence. That's a free event. So I will post all those links in there. Like I said, we were talking about mental health. Be sure to check those events out. If you are in Cambridge, Maryland, or can travel, check me out at Sweatpants and Chill Retreat. If not, definitely log on to that. Not log on to, but register for the online summit. All right.
You got a lot of things coming up. I'm excited. So y'all
busy.
Y'all got a whole lot of opportunities to tap in. So if you guys want to go on your self-care journey, we are here for it to help you walk alongside you as we do that. And I'm excited.
All right. Thank you all for joining us again. If you are catching the replay, be sure to type #replay. Let us know your topics that you want to hear about, and let us know any takeaways that you got today. All right. And again, be sure to follow both of us at Dr. Fit Nurse, and she is a Nourish Mom. Until next Wednesday, same time. We'll see you then.
Bye.
Bye-bye.